What's up everybody, my name is Slim and welcome to my channel. If you like One Piece spoilers as well as chapter breakdowns, make sure to subscribe to my channel and like and comment. Any support and all support is greatly appreciated. Starting out, chapter 1115, titled Fragments of a Continent. We get the volume 5 of the Yamato pilgrimage, Ogre Child Yamato's Golden Harvest Surrogate Pilgrimage, volume 5. And in this chapter, we got a bento from Hiyori and Otoko. Yamato is smiling while she sees how Hiyori and Otoko prepare a bento for the journey around Wanokuni. The chapter starts where last one ended. We can see more reactions about Vegapunk's words all over the world. In Wanokuni, where Straw Hat's Jolly Roger flutters near the castle, people are listening to Vegapunk's message with old Orochi's Mushi. We can see Momonosuke, Kinemon, Otama and Shinobu eating dangos. Momonosuke says, so Joy Boy was a pirate just like Luffy. Kinemon says, you know that name? Cut to G4 Marine Base Prison. We see that Demaro Black and his crew are also listening to Vegapunk's message. All of them are now cosplaying as Kid Pirates. Demaro is Kid. We got the fake Kid Pirates. Who would be stronger, Joy Boy or our Captain Kid? Demaro Black, fake Captain Kid, says, it's unfair to compare since Joy Boy is dead. Vegapunk's broadcast continues while we can see that Luffy, Dory, and Brogy are still running away from Workery. Vegapunk says, to explain why Joy Boy was called a pirate, I must first talk about the Void Century. I've only read a small portion of the poneglyphs, but poneglyphs are records of a massive battle fought during Void Century. Joy Boy's enemy was the current world government. Workery then gets mad and says Vegapunk. Cut to the laboratory. We then see that Mars is walking through a corridor and using Conqueror's Hockey as he walks, and it looks very, very awesome. After he passes, many Mushis fall to the ground unconscious. Vegapunk says, to be precise, Joy Boy's enemies were an alliance army of 20 nations that later become the world government. In other words, Joy Boy and his group was so sturdy that such forces were needed to fight him. While Vegapunk says this, we can see a panel where Joy Boy, using his Nika form that also looks like Luffy Gear 5, was fighting multiple kings. Unfortunately, all of them are just silhouettes. Vegapunk continues. Vegapunk says, since I don't possess any information on what ignited the battle, I shall describe it as a clash of two types of ideas, and neither side can be defined as good or evil. We then cut to Zoe. We can see that some of the minks, like Carrot, that is wearing a new outfit, and Wanda, that is in a dress as a musketeer, are listening to Vegapunk's message. Zoo is listening to it as well. As I mentioned before, the nation where Joy Boy was born was something you wouldn't believe that existed 900 years ago. The weapons that existed in that century of war seem to be crafts that cannot be recreated with today's technology. And that even includes me, the genius, says Vegapunk. We then cut to the Foxy Pirates. They are listening to Vegapunk in a shabby, small boat. Most of his crew are gone because we only see Foxy. He has a mustache and a goatee now. Porsche and Hamburg are also there. All of them have bandages and wounds. Foxy says, what is he talking about? That peanut head? Porsche says, oh boss, by the way, I'm starving. Vegapunk then says, and that's where our problem stems from. Back to Egghead Island. Edison asks Stussy to run away. She doesn't need to care about the barrier anymore since it's useless against the 5 elders. Cut to Nami's group. Nami says they need to hurry since marine battleships are gathering around Elbaf's ship. We can see that Zoro and Jinbei almost reach his ship. Back to Stussy, she's talking with Kaku, very sad. I don't know what to do. Now that Stella is gone, I've lost my purpose in life. Venus Juro breaks free of the giants and attacks Bonnie, but Frankie pulls her out of the way to avoid the attack. Venus Juro attacks and he cuts off Elbaf's ship and the figurehead for the ship. He said, you talk too much, Vegapunk.
This is what you're doing. This is what I want you to do. Any questions?
All these annoying signs of lives. Then Venushiro jumps into the air, and in an epic double spread, he cuts the entire cloud under Punk Records in half, freeing all the Seraphim and Cyberfall agents in the process.
My nigga Biscuit.
All of them fall to the lower part of Egghead. Vegapunk's speech still continues. The Void Century ended with Joy Boy's defeat. However, his downfall, that battle left an irreparable damage on our world. Going from island to island, that is our world today. With sailing itself being difficult, a large amount of our population will only have access to the culture of their own. We see more random reactions. Some people say, of course, the ocean is dangerous. We see Shimotsuki village too. Kyoshiro is listening and Vegapunk listening to Vegapunk while he is training kids. Vegapunk says, "This is common sense of ours, but this does not apply to the world that existed 1,000 years ago. We can assume that our world used to have several continents long ago, but the catastrophic climate change that occurred during the Void Century submerged the entire world with 200 meters in rise for the seawater. The islands we are living in now are merely fragments of those continents that used to exist. The world of 1,000 years ago is now sunk into the depths of the water and nowhere to be found." While Vegapunk talks, we see in another double page spread showing ruins of cities in the bottom of the sea. We see more reactions around the world, like the Revolutionary Army, Dragon, Sabo, Ivankov, and Kamabaka Queendom, or Nojiko and Genzo in Kokoyashi Village. Genzo says, "Nojiko, where are you going?" And then Nojiko says, "Tell me what he says later. I'm going to go check on the Mikan's farm." In Sakura Kingdom, Dalton and Kureha are listening to Vegapunk's message with some citizens. "It seems that there is still so many interesting things in this world," says Kureha. "We can see too Miss Golden Week, Miss Merry Christmas, and Miss Valentine in the island where New Spider's Cafe is located. People of that island look at a mountain and say they can't believe it was more than 200 meters high in the past. They say too that a lot of people must have died by the rise in the seawater." Vegapunk's message continues. Why did the sea level rise that century? One would reasonably assume that such calamities are usually caused by natural disasters, but after my research, I can say it's impossible to say so much change can happen in the span of merely 100 years. I can conclude that the calamity was actually man-made. "Unbelievable," Morgan says. In the World Economy newspaper headquarters, Morgans can't believe Vegapunk's words. Vivi covers Morgan's mouth to continue listening to Vegapunk. "When I detected a rise in sea levels across the whole world the other day, I reached my conclusion, the reason and the identity. We can see Mars, Saturn, and Mercury faces while Vegapunk says the last words. The ancient weapons that sunk the world 800 years ago still exist today, and they are waiting for the day they'll be put to use again." Cut to Marie-Joie in the final page of the chapter. Still in shadows is Emu, and in the room of flowers playing with butterflies. Chapter ends with Emu's close-up while Vegapunk talks. Emu does the same thing, no response. In other words, the huge war that occurred during the Void Century has not yet ended. End of chapter, no break next week. And so, I wasn't sure if we were going to get it, but it does look like we are not getting what Joy Boy looks like yet, and we are not getting what Emu looks like yet. They're still silhouetted, but I'm going to be covering more of the chapter later on as the full chapter comes out. So if you're ready to see that, make sure to subscribe to my channel and like and comment what you're most excited for in this chapter and if it lived up to the hype. And until next time, peace.